Right, it's 6 o'clock in the greenhouse. I'm just losing light now, so I've popped the grow lights on just for a few minutes, just while I do this video. I do really love having these grow lights in here, I've got to say. It's quite a luxury. And a lot of people ask me where I get the grow lights from, and I've got 4 grow lights in here, as I said. It is luxurious. And I got them as a job lot off eBay. And they're all second hand and a few little bits and pieces wrong with them, but they really make a lovely difference, you know, when you're working here in winter. It doesn't matter so much at this time of year, but when you're in here in winter, it really brightens it up and turns any day into a sunny day, really. And of course the plants like it too, and I'm going to be using them all the way through winter. I tend to top and tail the day, so I don't have them on all the way through the day. I just have them on early in the morning, and then, well, in winter, I suppose, I have them on from sort of mid-afternoon, I suppose, like 3 or 4 o'clock until maybe 7 o'clock or something like that. So I might have them on 4 to 6 hours a day. I think it's really cost effective. I've worked the numbers out, you know, even when electricity prices were sky high, it was still easily worth it in terms of the extra harvest that I was taking out of the greenhouse, and just the, you know, the fun and the enjoyment of it and everything makes it easily worthwhile for me. Anyway, and of course they do provide a bit of heat, you know, because all that light gets turned into heat, and you know, in winter it's quite nice to have a little bit of extra heat in here. So what I wanted to talk about was, though, just a quick seedling update. So I thought I'd just run through everything I've got in here. I haven't sown anything yet that's going to go in the polytunnel. So I've still got all my lettuces, all of my Asian greens to go in the polytunnel. Well, actually, I tell a lie, I have sown some things. Just this Claytonia, I think, is the only thing that I've sown for the polytunnel. I tend to sow for the polytunnel about the middle of September, and I plant out about the 10th of October. So that's about how long it takes to grow a tray of seedlings for the polytunnel. And I don't want them too early, of course, because the polytunnel is full of stuff at the moment. I don't want to take that out before I really need to. But if I leave it much later than that, much later than the 10th of October, I don't really get the plants well enough established in order to have them ready for harvest all the way through winter. So let's just quickly go through what we've got. So I'll talk about everything really, I think, that's in here at the moment. So up here I've got my strawberries, and I'm not getting a huge yield off the strawberries, to be honest. You know, I'm getting a handful a day, but every time I come in here to water, I get a handful of strawberries. So it's kind of motivates me to get the watering done. And I've got these supposedly late tomatoes. So these are sun gold. I've let them grow really high, although I've topped them now. There's loads of tomatoes on here. But I'm not really relying on these sun gold for my sort of autumn and early winter tomatoes. I'm really relying on these, which are tumblers, and these are pretty lush with growth, and they've got a lot of fruits on them now. So I started these on the 3rd of July, so that's when I sowed them, 3rd of July. A lot of people said, oh, you'll never get tomatoes from a July sowing, but I have, and I've got lots of them, and the weather hasn't been that great. So I'm kind of, they are a bit leggy, but I'm kind of hoping to have tomatoes for quite a while. I probably won't have them until December or anything. I'm not that bothered really, because I think taste declines quite a bit by that time. But yeah, most of autumn, I'm hoping to have some tomatoes. And I just like the way they look. I like the lush nature of it all in here. So that's my tomatoes. I see more strawberries and things down there, more late tomatoes, sun gold late tomatoes down there. And then I've got the peppers down here on the floor. And these are the healthiest of the peppers. I've scrapped a load of them because I've got loads and loads of peppers at the moment, so I don't really need that many, but I thought I'll just keep a few in here because I like it to look nice and lush. Certainly by the end of October, all of these peppers will come out, and all of these things that are down here, which are winter carrots, winter parsley, and then primarily being grown for leaves, all different things from the beet family. So some beetroot, some chards, different types of beetroot. I really like beetroot leaves. I like the way they look, I like the way they taste. And I don't know whether I might get some little beetroot before I scrap these tubs. So anyway, when these peppers go, all of these will move down onto the floor. And then all the way along here in winter will be lettuce and spinach. And of course I've got loads of lettuce and spinach in the polytunnel and under some of my low tunnels and things. But the challenge I always think in midwinter, true sort of like midwinter, January, early February, is that leaf quality starts to decline. And although they're perfectly edible, those leaves, they're not very crunchy. And I like a lot of crunch in my salad mixes. I like crunchy spinach and I like crunchy lettuce. And I can get that in the greenhouse. So I'm not trying to get all of my lettuce or all of my spinach. I can't grow that. I can't grow it all, but I can grow enough to get crunchy leaves. So yeah, and then I just mix those into my salads, and then I have some nice tender leaves and I have some nice crunchy leaves, and that's good enough for me. So yeah, so that'll be all the way down there. And then down here in March, maybe late February, we'll go my early potatoes. And I'll go into these tubs. So I'll have harvested all this beetroot, all these beetroot leaves and the parsley and the carrots and things, and basically back into the same containers, just refurbished with a bit of bloodfish and bone. We'll go the early potatoes, then the lettuces will finish by March in here, because by then I'll have plenty. Oh, there's loads of bees in here. By then I'll have plenty of lettuce on the allotment, because I'll have crunchy leaves again in March, once light levels kind of increase. I'll have all my successions of seedlings. So down here is where I do most of the seedlings. I might have a few lettuces down here as well, but right now, whoops, bees landed on me. I've got salad onions here. I've got salad onions and tough ball onions up there. I've got Claytonia here. I've got Claytonia there. That Claytonia, as I said, is going in the polytunnel. I've got new little seedlings, just germinated lettuces for harvest as full heads later on in winter. I've got some spare kales, all sorts of different varieties of kales, green curly kales and Pentland Brig and scarlet. And they're spares. I don't know whether I'll need those, but if I can get them planted, I will. I've got my autumn and early winter spinach, and my winter spinach is just germinating. So this is Rubino. It's a nice red veined spinach. I like it early in winter and in late autumn. But then I grow giant winter actually for a midwinter harvest, and I'll switch back to something like Rubino later on in the season. I've got salad rocket, I've got lettuces, I've got my first sowing of spring cabbages. I do my spring cabbages really late because I don't have any space to plant them out in sort of October. So I like to plant them out in December, January, February sort of time. So that's my first succession of those. And I've got a lot of other things still to sow this month. I'll just put up at the side of the screen all the things I've still got to sow this month, because there's quite a lot of those things. And then all down here, I've got lamb's lettuce to grow outside for harvest in midwinter. and that is it. So that is all the seedlings I've got, I think, other than things like that I've just planted out. Just planted out a bed of lettuce, for example. And then, of course, I've got all my winter crops outside. You know, all my colettes, all my Brussels, you know, all my lots more salad onions and things like that, and loads of stuff in store. So it's going to be a great winter, I think, and we're looking forward to it. And with that, I think we'll draw it to a close. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.